Hello.
Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to our fifth installment of our webinar series. You can see there's some more people streaming in. Yeah, welcome all of you guys back to our fifth installment. This week is themed for machine learning. Very excited to hear what we have from our speaker today. But yeah, first things first. I think has been a lot of exciting things happening this week. I think not just the news that we're going to be mentioning later on, but like circuit breaker. At the start of this entire thing, we kicked off with circuit breaker in full action, and then now number 5, we have the circuit breaker now going to its second phase in just a few days. In fact, not a few days. Tomorrow. What do you think
Yeah,
about
tomorrow.
that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess that, like, a lot of people have been looking forward to it. I mean, like, I don't know, like for me personally, I've been looking forward to like eating out for once, because like all this while eating at home is kind of it's kind of miserable, like eating at home, like buying food then bringing it back, and then the food's like not as hot and not as nice anymore. So it's kind of nice that face to kind of have that kind of allows us to like get food directly at the eating places and all. But naturally, I mean, even though like we all can go out and eat out, uh, the danger still lurks out there. So it's best to like continue keeping safe, safe distancing and everything. We need to continue doing that.
Right. Yeah. I think whatever we do now, even though there's additional freedoms, I would say, but yeah, I guess in moderation is definitely best for your family's health, for your own health.
Yes.
Yeah, and for myself, I'm excited. Like I think a few weeks from now, like I wanted to do this last week, which was to do the 36 kilometer NParks walk. You know, the one where you start from one end of Singapore, which is somewhere in Jurong West, and you end up in Punggol by the end of the day. I had a friend who told me that it should take around like less than 12 hours. I think it was something like 8 to 10 hours if you go like on a normal walking pace. If you're more on the leisure pace, I think it would take like probably close to 12 hours, yeah. And this is with like eating lunch and all that. I kind of want to do that, but I also wanted to wait for like the phase to pass, because like one of the problems is that if you walk, at least I wanted to be able to like rest at certain places when we can, like instead of just walking all the way for 36. I heard it's 36 kilometers. Yeah, 36 kilometers all the way. It's very tiring.
I guess you
Yeah,
can consider that to do. You can consider doing that like this weekend, I suppose.
yeah, I love this weekend. This weekend, I have to prepare for some stuff for next week. But yeah, that's definitely something. In fact, because my wife is also going to be on leave next weekend, so we're going to be likely doing it together. She's an essential worker. Well, maybe I'm saying too much personal information for myself, but yeah, she's an essential worker, so I think some parts of her work also requires working on the weekends. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to be free on the weekend, and we're going to try out that walk. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The coast to coast walk that All Day Singapore is mentioning. That's hopefully that'll be fun. I'm gonna take it as like compensating like all the time that I just sit around at home and do nothing. Like I used to walk at least a bit every single day, like before I get to work and after going home from work. But I think staying at home, I've tried a bit more running every day. But yeah, it's weight has been going up a little bit still. Not good. But I do look forward to getting food like just like beyond just taking away or through Grab or stuff like that. Yeah. Looking forward to getting back to that kind of situation as well. Yeah. What other fun stuff is there happening in area this few weeks? Besides
uh,
Cloud Next, but I know Cloud Next is coming in the next few weeks.
yeah, I mean that's the only thing I'm thinking of right now. The
Yeah.
only Yeah, because it's gonna be 9 week of crazy amount of announcement. I expect a lot of announcement because I'm starting to sense a slight slowdown in the news coming out. Like we what we usually do with this webinar, we have a human RSS section. That bit is a bit harder to fill out this time round. Yeah, I mean, talking about human RSS, should we get started with human RSS?
Sure, let's get started. So let's jump right into that. Give me one moment. Okay, so as always, in our last few installments of our webinars, we hope you guys have been enjoying this section where we give you guys all the latest updates that we curated over the internet and whatever we have heard or listened to that we know about. And if you have new things you want to contribute to us, definitely let us know as well. If you have feedback regarding this, also let us know too. Let's get started. So human RSS, shiny new stuff. What are the new things in GCP that we found out? So some exciting stuff. So this one is it strikes a bit closer to home for me because I use a bit of App Engine and I also run Go applications within the Kubernetes clusters. It's kind of nice to see that they have come together in the form where the Go 1.13 is now GA for App Engine. So if you have been running some applications on Go 1.13, but you couldn't move it to App Engine because it's not in GA yet. I think this is a very good opportunity. It was released in June 11. You can actually start exploring that this option. And another thing is, I would say this one kind of related to us, not necessarily 100%, but for those people who DevOps administrators, if you are in charge of provisioning some of the content or the clusters or projects within your company across different regions, this is something that definitely would somewhat impact you. We have the Southeast region for the data center in Singapore. And there's going to be another new one. In fact, it was there some time ago, but now they're looking at expansion of addition of a lot more services. So this is for Asia Southeast number 2. You can actually search up on it. You'll be able to see the new releases that they did, which we're also going to show you in a few seconds. So this is a data center that's going to be, or rather the services itself that's going to be within Indonesia, specifically in Jakarta. And you can see over here, in fact, I was very surprised when I saw this over the release notes, where you can see over here, over just one single day, I think actually it was over a few days, where a bunch of many different things got released for Jakarta in this Asia Southeast 2 region. So if you are in an organization which needs to use different resources in different regions, you can consider putting that in Singapore as well as which is Asia Southeast 1, as well as putting it in Asia Southeast 2 if let's say you have customers within the region and you want to serve them at a more closer proximity. Right, so, and not beyond that, there are things like if you're looking at storage, I think previously there was some legal requirements, but yeah, this is also released now in the Jakarta region. So I think as Harizwan mentioned, okay, so Harizwan, would you like to touch on this portion? Cloud data fusion via Terraform.
So I guess for those who are not too familiar, there's this new product that kind of came up last year called Cloud Data Fusion. So essentially, if I'm not wrong, it's probably last year or something. So this product essentially is your ETL tool. It's one of the ETL tools that actually GCP platform provides. Where once you set up this instance of this data fusion tool, then you can using some GUI, you can map how to process your data. The data is going to flow from some bucket of data, and then you want to direct it to a certain sink. So you can set up your pipelines in a GUI kind of fashion. But with as usual, if you think about it, GUI, even set things up for with GUI, right? First time is okay, but then if stuff happens to that instance and maybe data, the pipeline got corrupted or something, you wouldn't want to reset up this whole thing once more. So although Data Fusion does provide APIs to interact with it, it's doing all those transformations via API doesn't make sense. So it's a nice thing that now this Data Fusion now is there is some integration of Data Fusion with Terraform. So if those who are kind of familiar with the Terraform product, where you can write this HCL format kind of file, and you can declaratively say what you want out of the pipeline, because essentially that's what a pipeline you when you declare it in a certain way, you expect that to be your output. You expect the pipeline to be set up that way. So yeah, so this Terraform thing kind of makes it convenient to have your cloud data fusion thing set up nicely. It makes it repeatable. So yep. Let's move on.
Okay, so I think that just to touch on a bit on what Harizwan mentioned at the earlier part. So you mentioned that because Cloud Next is coming, usually what happens is that they will save all the good stuff and release it at the during Cloud Next itself. So looking forward to see more shiny new stuff that that we think that they're holding back, and maybe they'll push out more during those periods. Okay, let's move on to tips and tricks that we can share with you guys. Okay, so this is one of the very interesting things that we have discovered, which is using Recommendations Hub. So what you do is that you go to let's say if you go to your GCP console, go to the home page In the past, you might have only observed the dashboard and activity tabs, but you can see over here, there's actually a third tab over here, which is recommendations. So from your recommendations tab, you can actually click in and see all the recommendations that GCP has set in place for you in terms of your setup for the project. And it's very interesting because it helps you to go through many different the properties that you can use to optimize your current application. For example, if you have certain users or systems account where you have provided too much permissions, or the rows have overreaching permissions, probably they don't need these permissions, they haven't used it, they will actually advise you, why not you look at reducing them. Okay, and one additional tip over here is that in this overview within the recommendations hub, they will tell you, how many over-provisioned permissions. If you go into the IAM menu, you can actually see for each entity, right, how many additional permissions that you can actually look at toning down. Okay. Beyond that, what about your network? Let's say if your firewall rules, you can actually optimize it by removing some of them. Let's say if it's not being utilized at all, these configurations can be amended and reduced. In some sense, also, yeah, the important part is to the security of the networks that you support for your workloads. Okay, optimizing your workloads, so they'll be referring to different properties or tools that you use within GCP. For example, your compute engine, they'll let you know certain decisions that you can take towards optimizing itself in terms two factors, either optimizing it in terms of the usage for your cost, or how you can use it to let's say use it to maximize the usage of the tool itself. Okay, and if you look in that article itself, they also mentioned that the recommendations hub is something they are working on. They're also looking at increasing or inputting more instructions or recommendations on allowing you to understand better in terms of reliability, security, and performance. What other things that you can do within the realm of a GCP project. Okay, so just to flash the link very quickly, I think I jumped very quickly just now. That's the shortened link over here, GDG5 Recohot. So if you go to this link, you should be able to see an article detailing how you can use the recommendations hub. But it's actually very simple. You can just go to your Google Cloud Console. The recommendations tab should already be there for you to select and go in and see what recommendations they have for you. Okay, let's jump on to the next part. Okay, so over here, yeah, so if you're looking at optimizing your serverless applications or within your projects, many different serverless tools that you have, there's actually this article over here that was written on how you can look at optimizing your serverless workloads. And on many different points, they offer different advices in 3 different areas: resourcing, managing the resource for your serverless tools, fixing different cold start issues. In fact, I think one of the issues they mentioned about is CPU stranding. There's also a couple of other issues that they mentioned, so you can look through it. It's not a playbook, but it's kind of like instructions that you can read and sort of reproduce with your workplace. Okay, if let's say we see that there are performance issues, you can actually look at each of these instructions and apply it and see if it's able to help you improve the performance of your serverless applications. Okay, and one last point is, after you have gone through, all this advice they have given you, right? What can you do to monitor your application to see that, has the performance improved or across time? If let's say your performance has degraded, maybe you want to have some sort of alerting mechanism to tell you to maybe you have to go through this process again.
I just want to add one more point. I guess the last point that is kind of a surprise at the end, which is the range of imports, kind of related to your fixing cold start issues. So if you see the 2 links there, right? The second link is essentially a link to a YouTube video about one of the more controversial ways to kind of resolve cold start. And I think they mentioned this during last year's Next as well. So they were demonstrating about with a Node.js application, like usually how one would would write a Node.js application is at the top. They'll write your import statements and everything, right? So like import something from Firebase or whatever. So yeah, that makes sense. But then but then doing an import is essentially a heavy operation. What if like some function that you're trying to call maybe doesn't need like this, like if statement doesn't need to need that package? You can technically do selective imports. Like you make essentially what you do is like you move your import statement into your function. So it's a bit controversial. The moment that was mentioned on stage, everybody like went, huh? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, one way is actually to just split up your function, but this controversial way kind of works. You can try to, and if you happen to like have some like cloud functions in production, no, okay, not don't do your production yet. Try it out on some development version of your cloud function and see whether this advice helps you. Like maybe like moving your import statements down and doing your import doing selective imports for your function. Yeah.
Well, that's yeah. I guess it requires a bit of experimentation and checking to see if it works for your use case, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But that's quite interesting though. I do use selective imports in certain places within the code that I maintain, and sometimes it's actually out of necessity. So yeah, I think it's definitely a feasible yet quirky choice. Definitely, I will agree with the notion that it is quirky.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely quirky. It feels wrong. Like imagine
yeah.
like halfway going through your code and it's like you're within this function, but then you suddenly see an import. No, that don't make sense. But
No,
yeah,
I just had this weird analogy in my mind. It's kind of like you're gonna take a shower, but instead of taking off your clothes first, you're just gonna just take pour the water on yourself right away, and then taking your shirt off after that.
yeah. The order feels wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next part. So on community content, what do we have to share with you guys for this week? There's one that I found very interesting tip that I found actually on Reddit. In fact, actually I didn't know about this before. There's actually a Google Cloud subreddit, and very interestingly, this guy he collated a bunch of tips for all the certifications that he took. Unfortunately, I think one of the things disappointing stuff is that he didn't have the tips for the associate cloud engineer, which is I think most of us what we want to go for at the start. But still, the tips that he has collated in each of the Medium posts that you can see over here. In fact, it's like a Medium post where you go inside, you can actually see a bunch of other links that he linked to. A lot of, I think some of those that I saw are actually free links. So you can actually go through them and use them as part of your study plan to help you prepare for your different certification exams. So you can check out the link over here, GDG 5 exam tips. Actually, yeah, funny story. I was also looking at the Google Cloud subreddit. In fact, Philip Hoffa also posted that subreddit. I think the first post I saw when I chanced upon the subreddit is actually his account, which was kind of funny. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to next part, our last part, which is the learning corner. So we've mentioned this last week, and just to mention it again, because I think by our next webinar, likely this is going to be over at this point. So an advice for as well actually to encourage all of you to, if you have not yet taken the Associate Cloud Engineer certification, this is very much recommended for you because in fact, because at the end of this, if you do some of the quick lab requirements, as I'll show you later, you actually get a discount for the examination. Okay, so this is very much recommended because, in fact, right now they're also allowing you to take the exams online. So you don't actually have to go to the exam center at least for this period. So it's a good opportunity for you to try it out. As part of the preparation, they actually give you a recommended schedule on what you should do, along, let's say, a 2 to 3 month journey on what you should learn before you actually go for the exam. Okay, so just to mention the exact steps over here, first off, you need to go to this link over here, GCP Cert Offer. Okay, there will be a few options for you to choose the certification for. The discount is only for the Associate Cloud Engineer. So if you have not yet taken it, make sure you select this option. Okay, and once you submit your application, they will send you details about getting 30 months free for using Quick Labs. Okay, so you can use that to study for your certification exam, and within the task itself, or rather the notification that is sent to you, they will let you know what you need to complete. So you need to complete those tasks, and they should send you a discount after you have completed the required task. So you can use that to apply for the examination. So when you apply for the examination, you have to pay like some amount of money. You can apply this discount code that they should have sent you they can apply it for this discount. And yeah, you'll be able to take the exams online. So hopefully this will inspire some of you to take the examination. And yeah, if you have any feedback regarding this, or if you have passed the examination, we'd love to hear from you guys as well. Okay, and this was something that was shared by our last speaker from the previous week. If you go to this link over here, you should be able to, I just checked this yesterday, it should still work. Yeah, so you can go to this link and you should be able to get another code where you can get another 30 days free. So if let's say you want to go for the Associate Cloud Engineer exam, but you actually want a bit more time to prepare for your examination, you can go for this, get a bit more time to help yourself prepare before the examination. Okay, and yeah, you have 2 months of quick labs. Let's say you start to get bored, maybe you want to try out different things. I think so far we have been sharing like some speed run quests on our Facebook page. Maybe you have been participating in some of those. But if you want to try out something new, you can actually go for this Google Cloud Skill Badges. So this is beyond just the regular like gamification badges that or quests that you can complete. In fact, this one actually the badge itself is themed a little bit differently, and they're encouraging you to try out this different skill sets, get the badges, and you can use it to share with on your social network and stuff like that. So you can check this out, cloud.google.com training badges. Okay, so we have mentioned this quite a number of times just now. Cloud Next online, it's coming soon, couple of weeks in July. Okay, not couple of weeks, but I guess it's around 3 to 4 weeks from today. And yeah, we're very excited to see the 9 weeks worth of content. Why 9 weeks? So if you apply for it, you actually get a choice of programs that you can opt in for over 9 weeks. So let's say if you're interested in something like security and application modernization, maybe you just want to check week number 4 or week number 7. If you're interested in everything, of course you can check for everything. They'll send you the news in terms of the different the timelines of the programs that they're going to run for each of this week for Cloud Next online. So yeah, do check the link out. I'll show the link here. So do check it out if you have not yet signed up for it. I mean, in this case, this is different from Cloud Next where you actually need to buy a ticket, everything. This is all online, so it's free as well. Go apply for that and yeah, get the updates on each of the different topics that you're interested in. Okay, so Harsha, would you like to introduce our speaker for today?
All right, so let me invite on stage, on a virtual stage, Magzhan. So he's a machine learning engineer at SOCA, and then he'll be taking us through building a machine learning based KYC system. So I think for it, he will also explain on that, like what KYC and everything is. So hello, Magzhan.
Hello to everyone.
So we'll leave the stage right now, and the stage is all you for now. See ya.
Yeah.
So you might want to share your slides, so we'll switch over to yours.
Yeah, just a few minutes. Okay. So you can see my slides, right? Yeah. So let me start. Today I would like to share with you my experience of building the machine learning based KYC system. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Magzhan. My full name is Magzhan Kairanbay, and right now I'm working as a machine learning engineer at SOCAR. So for those who don't know what is SOCAR, the SOCAR is a Korean car sharing company. Right now it's like in Southeast Asia, it's having the offices in KL, and in most of the streets near to condominiums, in parkings, you can see the cars of SOCAR as illustrated here. So it works as follows. You just have to in the map you can see the cars, the SOCARs. You can just select one of them. You can just set a date and time, and after that, once you just book a car, you can start unlock the car and start driving. But today I'm going to speak not about SOCAR, but about another app which is called Trevo. It's under the SO car, and the main idea of Trevo is like Airbnb for cars. So anyone who has a car can give it for rental for others, and the whole idea is like Airbnb, but rather than just giving the apartments, here we just give for rental the cars. So as you know, like once they want to use a car, before they have to register to the system, to our service, and start driving. So therefore, there is a term which is known as KYC, which stands for Now Your Customer or Now Your Client. In financial services, most of the time it requires a professional make an effort to verify the identity, suitability, and risk involved with maintaining a business relationship. So in other words, in order to do some kind of financial transactions or to do some kind of business relations, we have to, first of all, verify your identity. So in our case, like before start driving the car, we have to make sure that you are we have to make sure that you are like a valid person. We have to verify your identity. We have to make sure that you have a driving license, and your driving license expiration date is also valid. And apart from that, we have to make sure that you have all like proper documents. So in other words, we have to know our customers. So before in SoCar, even half, like right now, a bit, like the whole system work as follows. We have a customer, and the customer wants to start driving the cars. But before that, they have to register to our service. So customers start just like uploading some of the documents like identity card and driving license. At the same time, they have to take a selfie. So in our office, in SoCar office, we have to make sure that person in the selfie, the face in identity card, the face in driving license, all of them belongs to one person. Apart from that, we have to extract identity number from identity card, from driving license, and we have to make sure that driving license expiration date is valid. Once we verify all that information is valid, only after that we will be registering our customers to our service, to our database, and we just response back that you can start driving the cars. But most of the time, like we can have a big amount of customers who are willing to start driving the car at the same time. So there will be like big queue, and in that queue, like our customers unfortunately have to wait for some time. Usually it's like minimum maybe like 7 hours or 8 hours. Sometimes it can be even like 1 day. So our customers start to feel like boring. Even most of them, they can change their minds. They can start using other cars. They try to find other options to reach their destination. And in such a manner, we start losing some of the customers. So therefore, we have to deal with the time. We have to be able to register our customers very fast. Therefore, we came to the idea, like we came to the conclusion to build a KYC system to our customers, so we can onboard our customers very fast. So the whole procedure looks like in the following way. Our clients, let's say they have to take a photo of, they have to take a selfie by holding in their hand identity cards. Right now, we are working with only Malaysian identity cards. And the first step is we have to try to find all faces in that photo. So here we have two faces. We have a face in selfie. We have a face in identity card. Once we've found all that faces, we have to make sure that these two faces belongs to one person. So it's like same person. So once we verify that these person are same, we have to find identity card, where is the identity card is located. So once we work with the visual data, with the images, we use convolutional neural network. We use simple object detection convolutional neural networks. So in our case, especially, we use mask RCNN, but you can just use like other convolutional neural networks like YOLO and others. So once we found where is the identity card, the next step is to find where is the identity number. And once we found that identity number, we have to recognize the character. So we have to apply optical character recognition. So here comes Google solution. So we just reuse the Google's Tesseract for optical character recognition. But here I have to mention that we just didn't use like in a simple way the OC like Tesseract. We have changed our solution a bit. So before like applying Tesseract, we have applied image pre-processing to identity number, which was cropped. So once people take the photo of selfie with identity cards, there could be like different lighting conditions. In some of the cases, it could be like very light. In some of the cases, it could be very dark. Or in certain cases, there could be like a lot of noise. So therefore, we apply different kind of image processing methods in order to, like before recognizing the characters. So in such a manner, we improved our character recognition accuracy rather than just like in a simple way using OCR Tesseract. So once we have done with the selfie, once we have done with the identity card, we have to start working with a driving license. So people, our customers, have to take photo of driving license, and from there we have to extract again. First of all, we have to find like where is the driving license located. Once we found the driving license, we have to extract important information. In our case, it's again identity number, and the second one is driving license expiration date. So we again apply like object detection convolutional neural networks in order to find this important information. And after that, we apply OCR. So we have worked with identity cards, we have worked with driving license, and we have extracted all important information from these two documents. And at the end, we just again try to validate the faces. So here we have three faces: the face from selfies, the face from identity card, and the face from driving license. So we do pair-wise comparison for similarities. If, for example, like a face in identity card and the selfie same, but in driving license it's different person, then we just reject. So we reject the request for registration. But if everything is okay, then we start registering. We insert all that information to the database, and we respond back to our customers, and they can start driving the cars. So if we compare in terms of time, before it took like, for example, from minimum maybe 8 to 20 hours, like one day. But right now, the whole procedure, it takes like from 2 to 4 minutes. So in 2 to 4 minutes, you can register and start driving. So right now, let me share you what kind of tools we have used. So we have used like everything, since it's like a AI related project, we wrote everything in Python. And as a deep learning frameworks, we have used it as a front-end Keras. The whole backend was in TensorFlow. And all of these things was, and all this solution was built as a Flask API. So I have created the Flask API where I have like certain endpoints. If I'm not mistaken, we have like 8 endpoints. So for example, OCR is one endpoint, driving license detection is another endpoint, identity card detection is a third endpoint, and so on. So once we have that API, we have created another API, which is like which is a middleware API between machine learning API and the mobile app. So that middleware API will deal with the queuing, all the requests, and the other like important stuffs. So, and this last part, as I already mentioned, like we have used Google's Tesseract for optical character recognition. And for other visual tasks like object detection, we have used convolutional neural network. So we have used mask RCNN, but you can use others also like YOLO. So as you can see here, the whole solution is not so difficult. You just have to know like you should know like the basics of deep learning. You have to know how convolutional neural network works. But there are a lot of like in TensorFlow and Keras, there are already like predefined like mask RCNN or YOLO. So you just have to call that functions. Apart from that, maybe you have to know like the basics of image processing, since we applied image processing for character recognition. So this is like tools that I have used. And here, maybe let me share you like how in real app everything works. So one more time, it's like, as I already mentioned before, our solution work only for Malaysian citizens. So we just try to register only Malaysian. We work with Malaysian identity cards and driving license only. So first of all, it's again 3 steps. You have to provide selfie with the passport, with identity card. Then we have to validate your identity card and driving license. So first of all, as illustrated in figure number 3, once you press to continue, we'll be asking you whether you are Malaysian or not. If you are Malaysian, then it will go to the flow where machine learning models will work with you. Once you are foreigner, then it will go to the manual verification. So real people will check all your documents. But once you press that you are Malaysian, then we'll give you like small instructions how you have to take a photo and how you shouldn't take a photo. So we have to make sure that we can see the entire of your face, and we have to make sure that you didn't cover, for example, with your fingers, some of the parts of your identity card. So if, for example, as illustrated here, if we cannot see some of your parts of your face, it will be rejected. For example, we had a case where people wearing the mask try to register. So if we don't see your lips, we reject. So apart from trying to find the whole face, at the same time, we try to find all landmarks. We try to find where is your eyes, where is your eyebrows, where is your lips. And if one of them is absent, then it's not valid face for us. But since like everything is clear, you have like proper face, you don't cover with your fingers, we can see the whole identity card. Then we check like faces for similarity. We try to make sure that identity card is valid, which is not fake. We say that we go just further to the next step. The next step is you have to take the photo of your identity card. So again, we give like small instruction in order to prevent like the cases where people will not be able to register. So we show like in which way you have to take a photo and in which way you shouldn't take a photo. So we have to make sure that we can see the entire identity card. Once we are sure that we can see the whole identity card, we do like small verification for fakeness. So we have to make sure that all like landmarks, all like important features are there. And after that, we try to extract identity number and apply OCR. So once everything is clear, the third part is dealing with driving license, and they have to again take photo of driving license. So again, we give small instruction how you should take and how you shouldn't take. So once we make sure that all driving license is not fake, we have like important features there. We try to identify where is driving license number, where is expiration date, and we try apply OCR. So once everything is clear, you can start renting the car, you can start driving the car, and enjoy like your time or finish some of your work which requires the car. So as I already mentioned before, it helps to us to reduce the time. So in such a manner, like most of the case, our customers shouldn't wait for a long time. but in a small amount of time, we can register, onboard our customers, and they can enjoy their time. So that's all from my side. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer to them.
All right, guys. So if you have any questions, if anyone in the audience have any questions, just ping it on the YouTube comments section. Right now, it seems like we don't have, but I do have a question on my from myself. If it's okay to ask, it's okay to ask, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just wondering, like, how many requests does your ML workflow go through, and because I was more wondering about the scaling aspect of this machine when the learning workload, like, do you require like some accuracy, some sort of like special machines, or like high CPU or high GPU, or do you have any buttons? Yep.
So in terms of in machine learning, we have training and testing part. In training, yes, if we have a high GPU, of course it will be really nice because it can fasten the whole procedure of training process. But right now we didn't use any GPU. So for example, I already mentioned, we have maybe eight endpoints. Among all of these 8 points, I think we have 6 endpoints which involves convolutional neural networks. So each model, it took for me maybe 3-4 days to train in simple machine without GPU. So I was training in CPU everything. So most of the time I prepare all the data, and I also collected data by my own, annotate also by my own. And once every data is ready, I start training. So usually I put for training on Friday, and on Monday or Tuesday I just stop. So for each endpoint, for each model, it took 3-4 days. And right now in testing part, it's still working on CPU. But once we start adding GPU, when everything will working in GPU, of course it will minimize the time. I believe it could be 2 times faster.
Okay.
But even right now for customer onboarding, it took 3 to 4 minutes. I think it should be okay. But if we start process all the data in GPU, I believe it will take 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay, so some questions start coming in. I'll convey them. So first question is, what's the accuracy rate of your models, if you're allowed to divulge?
So we have as I already mentioned, we have for example 6 convolutional neural networks which are responsible for different tasks. So for example, one of them is detect where is identity card located. For each convolutional neural network, we have accuracy more than 90%, I believe. But the whole process is sequential order. So for example, if we are not able to find identity cards, then it means we are not able to find where is identity number. So all these sequences are related to each other. Therefore, I believe the total accuracy is the accuracy of each separate models. So maybe I think it's 70% or something like this, the whole process accuracy.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. So next question is, how would you detect fraudulent IDs? Like maybe, let's say the person holds up a picture, Photoshop version. Yeah.
This is one of the big problems. I believe if people try to cheat, they can't cheat because most of the time we try to pay attention to the key landmarks which can identify what is identity card, Malaysian identity card, what is Malaysian driving license. So if one of them is absent, then we say that it's fake. But I believe if some of the people really try to make a fake identity card, I think our model will not be able to perfectly detect it.
Okay. Right. So hopefully that answers that question. Then another question. So is your ML model deployed on the app, which is like edge device, or is it still on server?
Yeah,
Kind of.
it's in the server. So it's in the server, and I have built API. So we have an app, we have a machine learning server, and we have a middleware API which takes all the requests, prioritize them, make a queue, and they send all that requests to the machine learning server.
Okay. Guess now there isn't any more questions. So I have another question. So so just now you were mentioning about your model. You're going through a cycle where you run training over the weekend, and then you will deploy your new version of your models over the weekday. Like the next week, then is the new version of the model. So is there some sort of monitoring process that you go through to like know that this is a okay version of the model to deploy, or do you just assume that now the model will have more data, so it should be better? Like, do you monitor like accuracy rate on your production? Like maybe like accuracy go down, then you will swap out with the older version of the model. Do you do this kind of stuff?
Mostly, like in theory, we have to look to the loss function, like the error that shows. So once the loss, it should be very close to the zero, but in reality, it will not be zero at all in real life. So once it starts to be very close to the zero, in one time it can start to go up, like to grow up rather than going down. So once it goes up, it means we have to stop in that time. So I was trying to look to the loss value, and I was trying to look to the accuracy. So like once I train, I give like also validation set. So it will train like one epoch. After each epoch, it can test it in validation set. So I was also looking for accuracy in validation set, and from my own practice, I know that most of the time the training process for me it took usually like several days, from 2 to 4 days, I think. So it's also from my own maybe working practice. So there are like several choices. The one of the choice you can set like some period of time. It means like 2 days, 3 days, or which means in other words you can interpret as some amount of iterations to train. Another choice is you have to try to monitor the loss, and based on the value of loss, you can decide whether to stop or not. And I was trying to take into account several these options, and from my own experience, usually it takes like 4 to 3 days, I think.
Okay. Okay, then one more question from me. I mean, I asking a lot of questions here, but so I guess it's more kind of a follow-up of Brian's question. So just wondering, like, I mean, like, let's say if you were in oh, okay. And okay, ignore my question. Like, because another question kind of came up on the stream, so I need to think of a way to phrase my question correctly. But yeah, let's proceed to the next question on chat. So I guess the same guy that asked about the ML model deployed in the app, like this, I guess his follow-up question, like any gotcha that you can share while building this application.
The gotcha, it means like some
like unexpected difficulty. Like you thought it was easy, and then like, oh, actually it's different.
No, it was like opposite. I think I was thinking that it's difficult, but in reality, it was easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So therefore, I like maybe one of the messages of this presentation. It's like maybe you can feel like fear, like you can be scared to build something, but in reality, it's just like the whole picture is divided to small components, and once you perfectly deal with each component, the whole picture will be also clean. So I was thinking like maybe in terms of time in testing stage, it could be like it could take like very long time to register. I was afraid that maybe it could be like even 10 minutes sometimes, because I have several convolutional neural networks, and when I sum up the whole the all convolutional neural networks, maybe it could be like very long, but it wasn't like that. So like in comparison to waiting for 1 day, to have 3-4 minutes, I think is really nice. But in future, what we are trying to do is we are trying to make it even faster by adding like elastic inference or like other like features, and maybe try to process everything in GPU, and I believe it will be even faster. Yeah, maybe just like one of the difficult part, it was maybe data collection, not data collection, but data annotation, because we already had data there, but annotating data was difficult for me. Like even it took like maybe 1 week to annotate the whole, like for example, there is a photo with identity card, and you have to tell where is identity card, so you have to draw the bounding box of identity card by your own. So I have created, first of all, like several small tools for myself, like annotation tools, so that once you draw where is identity card, it can save all this information in XML file, all coordinates. And all that XML file is like image with XML file. It's like a training data. And I will give it to our convolutional neural network. So the most difficult part maybe is annotation of the data. Once you annotate, you've like prepared all the parameters, you start training, and you wait like for 4 days. So there is no like, it's like sometimes a bit boring work.
Actually, if I may ask a question, like a bit of a follow-up to your answer, you mentioned a bit about the future direction speeding up by using different ways of different methodologies. Maybe it's also a bit of a tie-up to the fraudulent question. Like, do you think there's any other way that you can look at to sort of reduce that error rate, or reduce this sort of maybe be able to detect the fraudulent scenarios more clearly?
Can you repeat like the question, like in terms of future directions?
Yeah, like if there's any other way to use ML to be able to detect scenarios where people are trying to, like let's say, presenting a fraudulent ID, is there any other possible direction in this field that makes it possible?
Yeah. For example, like Malaysian identity cards, they have a holograms. Also, we have like so if you want to like and even if you like try to Photoshop and print a colored print the identity card, fake identity card, the hologram will not, you cannot see that holograms in a fake one. So the hologram is a key part which can perfectly tell that it's not fake identity card. And another thing is right now we are trying to do liveness detection. So we have to make sure that person in front of camera is like, it's not like printed face, it's like live person. So the plan is like that. We will be giving like small like instructions, like for example, look to the left, look to the right, open your mouth, and something like this. Once the person will do all that actions, we can make sure that that person is a real person, which is not like someone just can sometimes print someone's face and put it in front of the face and pretend that you are like another person. So right now our plans is to do liveness detection.
Horizon, you had another question? Or?
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of like more like one, I kind of wonder kind of question. It's more like Just now you're mentioning about like your API, like you are looking like one of the future features is like looking to try to use GPU to like make the whole process faster, right? So just wondering like have you considered instead of like having an API, instead look at the TensorFlow Lite, like is there like have you considered that, and like is there any like demerit points from like looking through the TensorFlow Lite solution, where like you have a model which is deployed on the app itself, so there's no communication to API server. Like have you considered that?
That one we didn't consider, maybe because like once I think right now, I think like we have like 6 models. Even if we compress it with a TensorFlow Lite, each of them could be like 30 megabytes. 30 multiplied by 6 is already like 200, almost like close to 100 megabytes. So therefore, I think it will be like very costly in terms of like memory. But for liveness detection, we're trying to do it on app side. So it will be, I believe, like a TensorFlow Lite tiny model, which can like detect the key points in your face and classify whether you are, for example, looking to the left or looking to the right. Are you like your mouse is opened or closed or something like this? But yeah, for liveness detection, I believe it will be in the app.
That's a interesting thing to mention. All right. So I think we don't have any more questions. So so if anyone in the audience,
If I ask another question,
no?
but it's a little bit not related, I guess, to tech, but like I was talking to one of my colleagues, he's looking at building an application where he's like looking to grab, stuff like raw data that you manage to get. Like, how do you actually get in the process of being able to, like you mentioned about annotation, yeah, you have to get a lot of those raw data and perform this annotation. How do you get all this different information?
Yeah, like before, as I already mentioned, like in order to register to the system, you have to upload all that photo, the photo of selfies, the photo of identity cards, the photo of driving license, and we have a staff who verify whether this is like verify the validity of the documents. So anyway, you have to upload all the photos. So once before using the cars, you have to also take the photo of the car from like I think from 8 sites. So in terms of like image data, we have a lot. Like we have the data of our customers. In terms of visual data, we have the car photos, but all of them is just stored in the server without annotations. So my work, first of all, was to prepare the data by annotating them.
So yeah, actually, I didn't think about that. Yeah, actually, it makes sense that because you already have that data, you want to use that. What about, let's say, if you have someone in the audience, or there's some hobbyist that wants to build an application. Is there any like place where they can get, like, let's say, images of this information?
Like you can try to take, like you can just look to open data sets, but I believe like sensitive information like identity card and driving license, they are not in open access. But like simple images, like images of cat and dog, like simple objects, which is not so sensitive, I believe it's easily to find like a big open data sets in the internet. But without having data, like I believe like machine learning is the half part of machine learning is all about having data. If you don't have a data, you cannot do anything. But once you have big data, you can do so many things. So data is really important part.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right. Looks like that's it for the questions. So right now there's no question coming in from the comments. So if anyone in the audience have like questions, like maybe in the future or something, they can just leave a comment later. Then who knows, maybe someone will look at it and you can have a discussion about the questions later. Yeah. So thanks, Magzhan, for the
Thank you to
presentation.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's exit back. Right. See ya. We'll move you out for now. Right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let's get back to so yeah, that was a very interesting talk, and I think before we end off today, just want to share many details. Firstly, I think going back to earlier on what we mentioned just now in regards to study tips or tips that you can take towards studying for your certification exams. Very much recommend for if you don't have a certification in GCP and you are interested in looking into it. The Associate Cloud Engineer certification is a very good primer or good beginning certification for you to start and onboard yourself. And maybe if you like it, you can actually try out other certifications. And the cool thing about this is if you register by June 30 and go through the instructions, you should be able to get a discount code for your certification exam, which you are able to take online. Yeah, that's really good given the current situation. And Cloud Next. So Cloud Next is coming in around 3 to 4 weeks, July 14. Make sure you sign up at this link over here. There's 9 different topics across 9 different weeks. Sign up for those that you are interested in, and they should update you, as the program, as the week comes, they'll update you on the program that you can view online, so on and so forth. And yeah, this is again another link that was shared with us from one of our speakers from last week. If you like Quick Labs, I like Quick Labs a lot, so I am very happy to share this with you guys. You can apply the code found in this link over here, and you should be able to get another 30 days free for using Quick Labs. If you are looking towards taking any of a certification examination, this would definitely be something that will be very helpful to you. And yeah, so this is going to be for our, sorry, not the, okay, sorry, I was about to say something different, but in my mind, brain messed up there. Okay, but basically, next week we actually have a talk organized by Google. So the two of us host over here, Arizon and me, will be part of the serverless chat as you see over here. So yep, the event link, I've actually placed it over here, GDG5 serverless chat. You can check it out and sign up for the event. So this will be on June 25th, which is next Thursday. Okay, so this will be, I think, in SGP time or around in Southeast Asia. This will be around the evening period for most of us. Okay, and upcoming, so this is webinar number 5. We hope that you have enjoyed this, what we had for you today. If you have feedback for us, please let us know. For next webinar, which is 2 weeks from now, on 2nd of July, we have BigQuery Night number 2. So interesting topics in store for you guys. And this will be starting at the same time, 7:30 p.m. All the way until the evening period. Okay, and last but not least, or well, it's not the last part, but essentially we are always looking for speakers. This is not just for the cloud, but for our sister group, for GDG. We're also looking for people who are well versed in Chrome technologies, web technologies in general, Angular. But also, if you're in cloud, definitely, if you are well versed in GCP or if there's some interesting scenarios at work that you would like to share with us, if you're using TensorFlow, or any other technologies related to this field, it doesn't matter, whether you are in Singapore. As long as you're within this region, do sign up. We'd love to have you over and share your knowledge with our community. And yeah, you can sign up over here at this link, bit.ly/GDG/SGCFP. Okay, I'll flash this for a few more seconds. Okay, and yeah, last but not least, if you enjoyed our content today and you would like to see more, we do share on our Facebook group different posts that we find interesting. We have speakers who also share some of the content there as well from time to time. You can check us out. At this link over here, our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups GDG Cloud Singapore. Okay, and we also have a Slack group that we open during our modular GCP days. And yeah, if you're interested in discussing, your problems with the community, you can join the Slack as well. discuss your problems. Let's say if you're using GCP, and see if anyone has any solutions to those issues that you're facing. And yeah, our meetup page is definitely one of the most important things, because this is where we'll post most of our content and let you know the schedule of when we actually host our next webinar, so on and so forth. Or if you have any additional content beyond the webinar, we also share it on our meetup page. Who knows, let's say sometime after phase 2, if things it becomes a bit more open, if things are more safe out there, we can actually look at, let's say, doing physical meetups again. This is where we actually be posting our news on there. So definitely follow us on our meetup page so that we can, help update you on our program that we have in the weeks to come. So yeah, if you like our stream today, make sure to give us a like, share, subscribe, all those good stuff. If you're in Facebook, we very appreciate you giving us that like as well. Definitely let us know if you have any feedback regarding today's program. And yeah, that's all we have today. So see you guys 2 weeks later, webinar 6.
See ya.